What is pussy poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another piping hot episode of Sippin' the Tea.
Where we sip the tea and our guests
spill that tea. Damn, we're getting good, child. You better take a sip. Oops, she go.
Well, we have a little glitty glade here.
Miss Mama, and look at these wares. They're serving looks.
They're serving hennies. And speaking of serving hennies, today we have a very special guest. He is the CEO and the owner of Doggy Swag. He is also a musician, a music producer, and an e-com guru. Welcome today, Marc Illy.
What up?
What's up?
How are you, brother?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on, Marc?
It's another day, out here in beautiful Beverly Hills, and we can't complain. But I gotta say, your dogs look amazing.
Are you only saying that because this is your...
that on your wear.
I mean, look at the dog. He's like so swagged out. You can't even compare with any other dog. Like,
Well, you already lost flavor, honey, because she's a girl, not a he.
wow.
Well,
Yeah, I meant she, but I said it wrong because I brought you the one that was meant for a boy.
Listen, we live in a world where all is accepted.
Exactly.
All is accepted.
There you
so
go.
how do you go?
Yes.
Take us back to like the music part of your career. You're a pianist by trade. That so now from there to here? Let's start right back at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I just basically, I guess I would say that growing up, I moved around a lot. I was born in Pittsburgh, and I moved to South Africa when I was a kid.
Wow.
And some mishaps happened, and me and my family were in like a car accident, and my dad passed away, and just kind of gave me a different view of the world of just, appreciation of, being here every day and, being able to kind of do whatever you want. My dad, he was a, really big into business, and for a little bit he was a doctor. So he kind of showed me as a kid, like there was different aspects of the world, and you kind of can do whatever you want. So I started out, thinking I would just go to college for like computer science, and I was a DJ in high school, but my mom was always like, no, don't do that. You're not going to become, anything just being a DJ. So I was
Which mothers do.
Right?
Mothers crack the whip. Mothers do that.
Yeah, mothers try to always put you in the right direction, which is good, right?
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so...
Pains in the ass. That's okay.
But yeah, so I kind of I thought that's what I wanted to do, and I started to go to school for computer science, and in the middle of that, my mom actually got diagnosed with cancer when I was 20.
Whew.
And yeah, so
That's some heavy life lessons,
yeah,
huh?
it's a little heavy, but we're making it fun, swaggy now, So
Okay.
she passed away from cancer, and it got me into music because she was a piano player herself. So it was like, someone's got to learn how to play music in the family. So
Wow.
I
So
learned piano.
That was the
The
starting point.
I learned
That's pretty
piano when I was
incredible.
20, and I was like, how can I mix computers and music together where it's still like, I'm still using my tech skills, and I'm still using my talents and creativity as a DJ. And now I want to get into piano, so I started getting into music production and piano, but I learned about recording engineering. So I started interning at some studios and took a job at Guitar Center, and ended up, hooking up with a pretty big artist, and he kind of took me under his wing. And
Bitch, you can't just drop that shit. Who is it? Come on now.
no, I mean,
You were
Drop
like, I
it.
need you to spill,
I was like,
I
gonna
didn't
spill
name
that
drop
tea.
it, but yeah, so it kind of showed me, a lot of things, and learned a lot. And
Okay.
then from there I went into the music production, and life took me in many different places. I ended up like really getting into songwriting and rapping, because as a DJ, me and my friends always would just rap for fun.
Okay.
So they'd be like rapping, they'd be like, yo, just rap something. And I'd be like, okay. So we'd be freestyling.
Well, let me hear you freestyle some right
high
now.
Yeah.
You put him
Never
on the spot.
freestyle for free. Nah, but we can't. But you don't even got a beat or nothing. You want me to freestyle? There's no
Oh God,
beat.
she did not come.
We'll get on the freestyles next time. Today's more about the dog.
Shook.
But honestly,
When's
before
your
we
next single coming out?
yeah,
Bye.
seriously. But are we sipping tea or are we sipping water here? I'm wondering.
You best put
'Cause,
that away. It ain't pay for play here, Chad. You best put that tea right back in your pants, Chad. Actually, let me take a photo of that brand because I get them from the CVS. Chad.
Yeah,
Is that the right one?
I got this straight from
Yes,
Asia.
I like that brand, but keep that shit
Wait,
in there.
we gonna cover that.
So-
We're not getting paid for that, so we're gonna
Oh,
keep
yeah,
that in the
that's true.
pocket. Keep it in the pants.
Yeah.
So the swag, delicious here. The swag.
Back to the
Where did it come from?
back to it. So all right. So I went on to do some tours, opening up with some artists for a while. I did shows a lot around here in LA. Used to do like a residency at the Mint over on La Brea and Olympic.
Okay.
So I was doing that for a while, and I just kind of got burnt out on music and just kind of the industry and the politics, and just like, it just took me to a place where, as a music producer and someone who's more of a creative person, I didn't want to make music for other people, which is kind of the demand when you start to work with a lot of the people that want the stuff that's really hot and popping at the moment, where I was like, you know what, I kind of just want to do my own thing. So kind of just realized like, hey, I wasn't making a lot of money, and I was a freelance music producer and engineer at the time, and it was just like I was kind of like struggling to get to where I wanted to be. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back from music and I'm gonna go back to working a job. So I ended up like getting a job for Chase, for a marketing division there, like selling credit cards in the airport. So
Damn,
Yeah.
you're
That hustle.
layers.
I was like,
Yeah.
look, I need to work. I got to get back to work and get a job. So I ended up doing it and like just killing it. And it was like, it really worked out because like everyone was doing like 10 a day. And I came in and just was like, this is easy. Like, hey, we're just talking to people. So I came in, sold like 20, 25 a day. And like, they were like, you know what you're doing. So we're going to make you like supervisor. And after a year, they promoted me and moved me to Chicago. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, I'm young enough. I can just go move around the
Chicago, though.
Ooh, that was
Yeah, that
cold.
was-
How long did you stay there for?
Yeah.
Did you
So,
hit a winter?
so I stayed one winter, and then I was like,
and he like, I never
You
go
were like,
back.
bye.
I was like,
Felicia.
that's just a little too much for me with the cold. Like, I was literally living like in Westwood and riding my bike every day, like to Santa Monica.
It's like the spectrum.
Yeah. And then they moved me to Chicago, and I had a little apartment in South Loop, which was really beautiful. And
Yes.
but it was just like way too cold for me.
I love Chicago, but you ain't gonna
Yeah.
live there.
Yeah, it
Forgot
wasn't
about it.
like, and the thing I notice about Chicago is like people there are like really strong about Chicago. So when you come in and you're like, yeah, I just moved here from LA, they're like, LA? They're like, that's cool, but we love Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love Chicago, it's dope too, but like, I just moved here from LA. They're like, yeah, it's kind of more about you gotta be, grow up there. It's a really like town with a lot of roots, I feel. And I love the vibe of Chicago, but just coming in there when you're not like a kid, it's hard to like really like get established and
Gotcha.
and have that feel of like a lot of like friends like I have out here and my family's out here. So but I did love Chicago. I love the vibes, I love the food, so much fun things to do, but the winter, it just didn't work
So
for
was
me.
that the turning point of what brought you back here, and then how this journey started with the
Yeah, that was pretty much the turning point because I, as a music producer, I used to sell beats online on SoundClick. And so what had happened was I ended up resigning from my job and just kind of going back to that and selling beats online. And I took a bunch of online marketing courses to learn about Facebook ads and Twitter marketing at the time. And so I really got really deep into it, and I was just like selling my beats online. And I was like, wow, this is freaking amazing. Like I'm making money in my couch, in my in my freaking PJs, waking up, and PayPal notifications are going off the charts. Just ding, ding, ding.
Get that chingle changle.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, $50 a day, $100 a day, $200 a day, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. So I just saw that, seeing that like that money is not about coming from like being a manager of like 25 employees in the airport selling credit cards to like making the same amount just at home. I was like, man, wow, this online stuff is amazing. The way you can just make money anywhere. So I ended up getting really big into the social media, and I opened up my own social media company about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And I opened it in Chicago, even though it was, I was moving back to LA. I had plans to move back to LA in like a couple months. So I was like, but I started it there and opened it and got it going. And I moved back to LA and I just focused on it and was selling beats and doing my social media company. And it just took off. And I was just sitting here. I remember I was sitting in my apartment in Hollywood. And it was like I lived on like around Selma and Cahuenga, if you're familiar with that. And and so we have a lot of homeless in that area, right? And so I just remember it was like 4 a.m. and I was being woken up by some like homeless guy screaming, and I was just like, I woke up and I looked out the window and I couldn't see anyone, but I just remember thinking to myself like, you know what? Like, what am I doing here just spending all this money on rent? And like, I'm really doing everything online right now. I was like, I kind of need to take a step away from here and just kind of do my own thing. So, seeing like the online money and the things were starting to take off, I kind of just was like, you know what? I'm going to put all my stuff in storage. And I took a one-way ticket to Bali, Indonesia.
Oh,
What's that movie?
Living that good
What's
life.
that Julia Roberts movie?
Spur.
Where she goes
What is that movie? Yeah.
Yeah, the life change movie. Oh my God.
It'll come back
It'll
to
come
you.
back.
I know what you're talking about though, but
she went to Bali because she had that
Yeah.
moment of like, this is not what life's meant to be.
Yeah.
yeah, and I was
And you'd already been through so much though.
yeah, and
It's funny, like the life things that happen to you on the way is so much to fit in one lifetime. And it's like you kind of have a nice perspective on where
What life is,
what
yeah.
life is really about.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a kid, I grew up in many different places. So I went to high school in South Florida. I lived in the Valley when I was like 8 years old. I lived in South Africa, had a year where we lived in Rome when I was 6. I was born in Pittsburgh. So seeing all the different places and being so adaptable to making new friends and socializing, I was like, you know what? That was never really a problem for me. So I was like, I'm just gonna see what happens. So
Okay.
I took this one-way ticket, and it was just like my eyes just opened to a whole new, life and a whole different, way of thinking, a way of living. And I was just like, wow, like people are so simple here and they're so happy. They're not like concerned with their car. And keep in mind, I put all my stuff in storage, and I had like a Mercedes I just bought 6 months ago. I let my brother borrow. I was like, yeah, you just take it. I'm not really concerned about it right now. So it was a real humbling experience. So just seeing that, I was like, you know what? And then I would work at nighttime because of the time difference.
There you go.
So I would work at nighttime. In the daytime, I would hit the gym. Got to stay fit. And but so I would go out, see the city, enjoy life, and then work at night and just work on my business, scale the business. Honestly speaking, I would take phone calls, and I have a team of people remotely. So a lot of things going on, but people didn't really know that I was like in Bali. I was in Thailand and Taiwan,
It's the ultimate though.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, but people were like, "Oh, are you in Los Angeles?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm calling you from Los Angeles." Like really, I'm like friggin' in Malaysia on the beach, So it was really cool. So I ended up like really falling in love with being away. So I just traveled for about 10 months of just going to all these different countries and cities in Asia. And, I started in Bali. I spent a month in Thailand, a month in Hong Kong. I, from there, went to the Philippines for 1 month.
Wow.
Malaysia, Singapore.
Oh, just rub it in, okay?
He's like,
I'm living my best life.
I was just checking them off. Korea, Japan. I was just like, because when you're there and I was making this money online, and I was like, everything was pretty much, I don't have any kids. I'm single.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's perfect.
Yeah. I was like, hey, it's, you like Google, you're like, oh, well, Singapore to Kuala Lumpur is like an hour flight. It costs you $100
Yeah.
one way, you know, so why not?
That's such a nice perspective
You have,
to have.
yeah, you don't have like, I didn't have like a house where I was like, well, I'm grounded to this house because of this payment that's $4,000 a month.
This world we live in is all based. People are like
Right.
so stuck to life.
Yeah,
because of
and the
those
hustle
scenarios.
and grind.
I think your journey is really the kind of equation that people would dream of. But you made it work for you.
Yeah.
You made what you were doing work for you. And I think that's what people, they get bogged down in, like the life of, this is hard. Day to day is hard.
Yeah.
But you can make it work for you. So how does this
So
work for you?
Yeah, how
so
did
the doggy swag, how it came about was I ended up living in Thailand for 1 year, and I moved to Taiwan for 2.5 years in Taipei. So I was doing shows again and doing music over there as well. But what happened was I just saw everybody with their pets, and just everyone loves their pets so much,
Yes, as you
Yeah.
can tell. you
right?
got
Like
that
dogs
baby.
are amazing creatures. Like the energy you feel with them, the love you have for
What's
them.
happening? What? Sorry, yes.
So I'll let you guys
I
have
know.
your,
You were saying, what?
have your moment with the dog.
We're having our moment. By the way, that movie's called Eat, Pray, Love.
That's what it was.
And you have eaten, prayed, and loved in many places, but it just hit me.
A lot
I
of
was
praying
like-
and loving and eating.
But
But so what happened was I ended up moving back here, and I had my social media business, and I did a lot of research on, on e-commerce, clothing. So, I always was really into fashion. Like I love fashion. I want to open up my
Couldn't
own.
tell by your outfit,
I
that
mean,
you-
I
He
tried.
decked,
you know.
decked,
I'm
honey.
like real monotone. I'm not the kind of guy that's like, I'm like black or white or gray. Like that's what I wear. I don't
She's
really
coming for
like
you. She's like, let me just lie down.
like a lot of colors. Yeah, we can.
Oh, girl.
You can come to me. But so I ended up I was gonna open up my own fashion line, and I kind of got, this idea was like, hey, LA is so filled with dog lovers and
Mhm.
people that love their dogs. Like,
Chingo, chingo.
yeah, like why don't I try this dog clothing company and see how it goes? And I came up with the logo, I came up with the name, was like doggy swag. It's kind of chill, like, like it's kind of swaggy, and you swag out your dog. Like feel like I'm kind of swaggy because I'm a little old school, and swag is kind of an old term, right? That's like, it's not like a new thing like Jay-Z, Lil Wayne made it big, like swag. So I really look up to Jay-Z, and I like his music growing up. I was like, so I was like, doggy swag is kind of cool. So it just kind of worked. I made the website, being a guy that's, have a lot of experience in social media and e-commerce already with my social media business. I was like, I can do this. So this is the first store that I made, doggy swag, and it's just popped off.
It's interesting because you have had the entire kind of, I feel like your whole journey has been like a test run for something like this, because you it seems like you live by your gut. You're like, I'm going to go here just because I want to. But in the background, it's like you actually have done the work and set the foundations to allow yourself to live that life.
Exactly.
It's not just by coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, I
She's
feel
like, "Baby."
she wants to come over. She's like,
She's like, you got some more doggy swag
she's
for
like,
me?
just start-
I
She's like,
got
I need-
some more for her. Just-
Oh, wait, what do you have for us?
What you got in your bag of goodies
Yes.
over there?
Oh, you
Come on
wanna
now.
see?
Come on now.
All right, so I came a little unprepared, but this is a real popular
would be
one.
poppin'.
Oh, that is a pussy popper.
The Poochie jacket, the Poochie
Hold it up a
hoodie,
little bit.
right?
Right
Oh, yeah.
here.
Right there.
Sh-
Yeah.
Right here.
We'll put it right here for you guys.
Yeah, that's a pussy
Oh,
popper
wait,
right
she's
there.
like,
Look at
yeah.
Mama's
Her eyes lit up. She was like, "What is that?"
Like, bitch, you blacking me.
Actually, this one is like the #1 seller right now. You wanted that? You can take that.
She's like, girl.
And this is like the one she has on, but it's a little smaller.
Is that for little glitties?
That's for a little glitty.
Glitties is like,
Glitty glam.
"Bye, Felipe, I'm sleeping."
So that's in the white. So,
So do you come up with these designs yourself too?
well, right now we're doing our own designs.
Okay.
So, these ones are more inspired by the popular clothes. Of
course. Totally.
Of course, people want. We sell stuff that's like just regular, like our own stuff, but that's not the best selling stuff because people want the stuff that resonates with them, right?
I agree.
That's
Of course.
Yeah, they-
similar to them. And then we also
Because he's from Chicago.
so we got the
Right.
know,
Put 'em up
You
there,
gotta
right
get a
there.
boom. Gotta show
with
the audience.
fur,
We gotta show
you
these
know,
booties
apple
off.
bottom jeans.
Oh, you want some booties, Mom?
So look, she likes the dog.
Mm.
Little dog boots. So
Serving
These are-
some Henny.
These are really cool.
So,
You
yeah.
know, in those colder climates, honey, you need these because of the salt on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with it. It's great because it's raining right now in LA. So it's like when it gets wet and the dog is outside, you're like, oh, this is kind of cool because it keeps them warm, keeps them dry. And then instead of the dog getting all dirty, you throw this thing on them and you just
And they're swagalicious.
go ahead and throw it in the washer.
Serving
Look,
love.
serving.
Serving
So
love.
where can you tell everybody here where everybody can find this doggy swag and where to
Yeah.
find you at and the whole spill the tea?
You can find me, Marc Illy, at Marc MARC _ILLY. You can find the Doggy Swag Shop at doggyswagshop.com.
Boom, boom.
And that's also the Instagram, so you can check it out. We have all kinds of
We
things
got all kinds
for
of
big dogs,
Lux.
small dogs.
Lux.
You can see how
Lux.
cute the dogs look.
Serving. We're also serving looks.
Always serving
We have
look,
the
honey.
custom dog outfits coming soon, and custom shoes, and I have some new songs
I can't
coming
wait.
out.
My address is. Hit me. Hit
I
me.
do have a song coming out later this month. It's called Light Switch, which is it's gonna be a pretty dope song.
Okay.
There's lots on the horizon.
So
Yeah.
watch this space here, guys. Marc Illy. Okay, well, Marc, it was great to have you in his house,
Thank you
giving
so
us,
much.
giving our dogs some swaggy looks. Yes,
Girl, she was-
and sharing your story too about
Yeah, no problem.
how far you've come. It's
Thank
very
you.
inspirational for people out there who have gone through some things.
I
so
agree.
we going cheers to that.
Thank you,
Cheers.
sir,
Cheers,
for coming through.
cheers, yes.
Best.
All right,
Get it,
guys.
Hanny.
You guys can follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew and this little nugget at Glitty Glit.
I'm Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon 1983 and Little Miss Mama, It's Mama 2011. Damn, these are looking fierce.
You're looking,
these girls.
yes.
We gotta get it in the red one too to match.
Yeah.
Her. I'm sorry.
Yes, I was like,
I'm
Matt,
sorry.
You about,
he
I
was
was like,
like-
you're about to get
I'm
kicked
so
off this
sorry.
set. Until next time.
on Sippin' the Tea. We will catch you guys on next Tuesday.
Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.